I'm going to be ranking the best small forwards right now in NBA 2K23. My team, we do have a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to D tier, and we have about 25 to 30 of the best small forwards in the game. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below who are some of your guys' favorite small forwards to run in the game right now, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But looking at the first card here on the small forward list is going to be Paolo Banchero. I would say, for me personally, I think he's somewhere in that B tier category. I do think he's a little bit underrated at the small forward position. He's 6'10" with a 7-foot wingspan, and all around, I mean, this card just does everything at a very high level. Like, he's a solid defender. He could drive to the basket pretty nicely. 95 driving dunk, 98 vertical, all around super athletic. I mean, 94 strength, 93 speed, 93 acceleration. He's got a solid jump shot. I wouldn't say it's the best in the game or one of the best releases, but it's definitely not a bad jump shot. And then he's also got like the Paul George size up, Kobe escape. He's got pretty mid sigs, but for a 6'10" small forward, I feel like they're really not that bad in the game. And I would say overall, I would say Paolo Banchero probably in B tier. AK-47 is either really low B tier or really high C. I think I'm gonna go C tier for now. We just have so many good small forwards in the game right now. I would say small forward all around is probably one of the more stacked positions in the game, and AK is a very good defender, still one of the best on-ball defenders in the game, being 6'9" with basically perfect stats and badges for the defensive end. It's just his jump shot isn't that great on only quick timing. He can't really move in the game, where if you look at all the small forwards in the game, even the guys that are lockdowns like Jonathan Isaac, Bill Russell, like these very good defensive cards, Scottie Pippen, they can also move and create their own shot, and they do have way better jump shots compared to an AK-47. So I think for this list, so many good small forwards in the game. I would say AK probably in that C tier category. Jonathan Bender, easily a top 5 small forward in the game. If you guys don't know, S tier is going to be my top 5 small forwards, and Bender 1000% is deserving of the top 5. I mean, he might be the best small forward in the game. He's 7 foot with a 7'4" wingspan. I mean, this card is basically just 7-foot Tim Thomas. That's the kind of the way that I look at it personally, because his jump shot is just as good as Tim Thomas is. I mean, Tim probably does have a little bit better of a jump shot. I think the Jonathan Bender cards got more of a consistent release with the Montrezl Harrell base, but all around, I think Tim does have the better jump shot. And then he's also got great dribble sigs. I mean, he can literally hit people with the Curry slide and the Curry escape, and he's a 7-foot small forward with some amazing animations in the game, and just all around, I think he's definitely a top 5 small forward in the game. I would say probably number 1 or number 2. Larry Bird, I just want to include him on this list because I want to put him in D tier. I literally hate this card and kind of what they did with the Larry Bird grind. I mean, people played over what, 200 hours, 150 plus hours, you know, grinding for this Larry Bird card, and when he came out, he wasn't even a top 5, top 10 small forward in the game. And now I would say, I mean, he might be the worst small forward on this list. So I don't think he's even like a top 30. He might not even be a top 50, 100 small forward in the game. That's just how bad this Larry Bird card is, and it's super underwhelming and unfortunate what they did with this card. So I just want to include him to throw him in the D tier category. Danny Ferry, I think he's got to be an easy S. I will say though, he's kind of dropping in the top 5, you know, small forward range. He might be number 5 or maybe even number 6. I think I'll keep him in S tier for now. I do think he's probably the 4th or 5th best small forward in the game. Has a great jump shot, really good dribble sigs, and he's 6'10" at the 3. Looking at Ed, I would say Ed is probably B. I think he's a very underrated, maybe not underrated, because DBG does gas his card up a lot, and I know a lot of people are really high on him. I would say he's solid. I mean, I don't think he's as good as DBG thought he was. I mean, DBG was saying he's a top 5 small forward in the game. I definitely don't agree with that, but I think B tier is fair. I think B tier is pretty fair. He's a decent small forward, plays good defense, has a really good player build, kind of is like a budget LeBron is the way that I would look at it. Rudy Gay, I think's also got to be in the B tier category. If you want to move him into A tier, he might get moved up there later in the video. Rudy Gay, still a very good all-around small forward, has a great jump shot, good at going to the basket, and has a very good player model. So his defense is a little bit better in game than his stats and badges do show, just because of his player model, and his animations are super good. Now looking at the next small forward is going to be Danny Granger. Am I crazy to say D tier? I think Danny Granger might be one of the worst small forwards, you know, on this tier list. Like, I would take an AK-47 way over Danny Granger. So I know a lot of people might like this card, but for me personally, I think he's absolutely terrible. I'm gonna keep him in the D tier category. LeBron will be our first A tier small forward. I don't think he's a top 5 small forward in the game anymore, but I still think you gotta have LeBron at least in A tier. I mean, the card's animations are ridiculous. He's still so good at going to the basket, and he does everything at such a high level. I just wish he had a better jump shot, because if he had a better release, like if he has the Kuzma base, if he has the Rudy Gay base, I do think LeBron is most likely a top 5 small forward in the game. So very underwhelming with the Kyle Korver release, the Kyle Korver base, but I still think you got to give LeBron somewhere in that A tier category. Jonathan Isaac, same thing with LeBron. I think they're barely just going to miss out of the top 5 and be in the S tier category. Like this might be the 6th and 7th best small forward in the game. They're so elite at their position, and you can make an argument for Jonathan Isaac being a top 5 small forward in the game. Jabari Parker, I think, is on that B tier level. I do think Jabari Parker is kind of on that same level as a Rudy Gay and Ed and Apollo Banchero. Also another A tier or B tier small forward, I should say, is going to be this Jared card. I mean, you could make a legit argument he could maybe be an A tier. I do want to keep him in B for now, but yeah, I think you could make an argument this card's an A because he's 6'11" at that small forward position with a 7-foot wingspan. His stats are really good. I just don't like his animations. Like he doesn't have any good sig, so he can't really move that well, but he does have front clutches and quick drops off one and a very solid jump shot. So I think for now he'll probably be somewhere in B tier, but maybe later in the video or later in the tier list he does go up to A tier. Josh Smith, I mean, the jump shot is it's just such a bad jump shot. I will keep him in C tier because he does everything else at such a high level. Like if he had a better release, I'm not even kidding, he would probably be an A tier alongside LeBron. His jump shot is just terrible in game, so I feel like he's got to go in the C tier spot. Kawhi Leonard also going to be in C. Doesn't have a good release. His stats aren't like amazing. He's a little bit outdated. I really do want to see a dark matter Kawhi who has like a way better jump shot, good dribble sigs, and can play the shooting guard position, as I feel like he'll be one of the best 2 cards in the game. 2 guards in the game over maybe a Kobe Bryant, a Clyde Drexler. He'll kind of be on those guys levels, and a card that can maybe stop T-Mac if they do juice out his tendencies and his animations on the defensive end. Mike Bantam, I'm not 100% sure where I do want to put Mike Bantam, so I will keep him in the A tier category for now. I think these 3 small forwards are so close. It really depends what you need for your small forward. Jonathan Isaac, obviously the lockdown defender. LeBron just does it all at such a high level, and then Mike Bantam is kind of the offensive guy, also a really good all-around small forward, but has a good jump shot and really good dribble sigs. Kevin Durant, I think you got to go C tier. I mean, once again, just like Kawhi, once he gets his dark matter card, if they give him a really good jump shot, some good dribble sigs, he's still 6'10" at small forward. He could be one of the better small forwards in the game on the same level as a Danny Ferry, but I think for now, he's just got to go in C tier. Darius Miles, same tier as a Jabari Parker, both amazing budget small forwards in the game for about 10,000 MT. Darius Miles is going to be a really good rim runner and does have a very solid jump shot. Bill Russell, I think you can make a legit argument Bill Russell is the best small forward in the game if you do value defense, and at your small forward position you're just looking for a guy that plays really good defense and is a lockdown. That's what you get at a Bill Russell. I mean, he's 6'10" at small forward, has a 7'4" wingspan, and legit is the best all-around defender in the game. He's got a 99 interior defense, 96 perimeter, 95 steal, 98 block, and has every single defensive half badge in the game. I mean, this card is just ridiculous. His jump shot's pretty good. They even gave him some solid dribble sigs, quick drops off one, MJ dribble style, normal leaner. I mean, they juiced out this Bill Russell card pretty much like no other small forward in the game besides the Jonathan Bender. MPJ, I kind of want to go C, but I think you still got to give him B tier. I'm not the biggest fan of this MPJ card, but I still do think he's probably going to be in B tier. Purvis Ellison, for me personally, easily going to be in the S tier category. I think you could make an argument, just like everybody in A tier or S tier so far, I think you could make a legit argument for all 4 of these guys being the best small forward. I think the way that I'd rank it right now is probably Jonathan Bender 1, Bill Russell 2, Purvis Ellison 3, and then I would go Danny Ferry 4. That's just the way that I rank it right now, but all 4 of these guys I think could be considered the best small forward in the game. Paul George, got to go in the C tier category. I think he's probably the worst small forward in C, just really isn't that great of a small forward card. Scottie Pippen, for me, easily going to be an A tier. A very good defender, still one of the best on-ball defenders in the game, has a very solid jump shot, can create his own shot, and has really good size at that small forward position. I do think he might be better at shooting guard nowadays, but all around, I do think Scottie Pippen easily an A tier small forward. Reggie Williams, I think the same tier as Ed, same tier as like the Darius Miles, MPJ, all just very good small forwards. None of these guys are like exceptionally better than the other, just very solid cards, especially for their price tag. A lot of them are either free or very cheap on the market. Pascal Siakam, I do think is going to be high C tier. I do think he's probably the best small forward in C. Him and AK is kind of a close debate, but I would definitely take Siakam over Josh Smith, Kawhi, KD, and Paul George. His jump shot is a little bit inconsistent at times, but all around still gives you really good play. Dark Matter Giannis, I think he's on the A tier category. I do think he's better better at power forward just because of his size, his wingspan, and his player model, but at the small forward position, he can still be a very good lock. And just like LeBron, these two cards play way above their stats and badges in game. Like, their animations are just on that next level. Like, they'll get crazy block animations, just contest shots out of nowhere. They pretty much dunk and finish everything at the rim, get a lot of and1 calls. So all around, I think you got to give Giannis at least that A tier category. Jason Tatum, I mean, he's basically just another Kevin Durant. Same thing with Zion. I mean, these cards are really, really good, but I do think they're probably, or not really good. I do think they're solid, but going to be in the C tier category. And then to round off the small forward tier list is going to be the Pink Diamond Tim Thomas. So once again, we do have to move one of these small forwards into the S tier category. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below, out of all of these small forwards in A, which one would you guys move up into the S tier category to be that 5th and final spot in S? I think for me, it's going to be Mike Bantam. I still believe he's the more complete small forward than a LeBron or a Jonathan Isaac. But if you wanted to put Isaac over Mike Bantam, or you wanted to put LeBron over Bantam, I think that is a very, very close debate for that 5th and final spot. I think the top 4 is pretty obvious. Jonathan Bender, for me at least, Jonathan Bender, Bill Russell, Purvis Elson, and Danny Ferry. It just really comes down to that 5th spot, and you can make a legit argument for Tim Thomas, Scottie Pippen, Giannis, LeBron, Jonathan Isaac to be that 5th and final spot. Just for me, I'm going to throw Mike Bantam in that S tier category. But let me know what you guys think about my small forward tier list and what you guys would change about it. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.